Hey YouTube, Ultimate RC Racer here. Earlier today I was just messing around with the suspension on my Stampede VXL, and I just somehow found almost just the perfect suspension setup for it for like off-roading. I'll take the body off and actually show you exactly what I did and pretty much what the settings are now for it, for the so you can get the same suspension setup. Pretty much what I did was with the front springs and the rear springs, these are completely stock springs. Same thing with the shocks themselves. They're only a different color because I dyed them. But anyway, so also, well, pretty much what I did was I left the springs in them with the stock ones, same shock bodies. The front ends I left without any preload at all. But also I used 40 weight shock oil and silicone oil, I mean, for the front and the rear. So what I did with the front, though, to get the different suspension setup with the stock arms, but right now I though have the RPM ones. This hole right here, just to the left of the screw, that would be the stock setup for the suspension. It'd be one hole over. So what you want to do is just move it over to the other hole, the one closest to the bulkhead. Same thing with the one on the other side, and that'll make the front end a lot more responsive, more plush, and just a whole lot better than stock. And with the rear, what I did was on each side I used, sorry, just trying to get out what I actually used for it. Just a sec. Okay. So what I did was I used, is that 3 or 4? No, 3 preload spacers. Sorry about the camera moving, I was just trying to get out the parts. What I used was the, oh, whoops, wrong one. Just a sec. Okay, here we go. What I used was the second most thickest preload spacer and the second most thinnest preload spacer. Don't use the thinnest ones for it, because this is what the thinnest one is. I used the second most thinnest. I think these are actually 2 millimeter spacers, I believe. And the other one is a 4 millimeter spacer. So pretty much I used these 3 preload spacers, same ones, on each side of the shocks for the rear end. And what I did after what I did from that was since I'm using the the RPM rear A-arms. See if I could get it to focus well. With the RPM parts, the middle hole would be the original stock setting. So what you want to do is move it one space over, to the one space closest to the space closer, I mean, to the rear bulkhead, and that pretty much solves the also the problem with the dampening rate and the amount of droop that you get with the rear end, because now there is really not that much, well, there is droop, but there's not too much, there's not too little. Yeah, you have the amount you should have. So that's really good. You don't have too much droop now. The front end, you get some droop still after it's been fully compressed, the suspension. And the best part is by now how much more responsive this is. The suspension, because I'm pretty much now just lifting this by the rear wheel with the most, well, not most weight. All I'm doing is just holding it, lifting up as high as it'll go, with all three wheels still staying on the ground. And I have about, let's see, maybe 3 or 4 inches of clearance just from how high that tire was going. So it's a lot more plush, more responsive. You don't have really bad droop anymore. It's very inexpensive because all you really have to do is just use 40 weight shock oil, and you can get a bottle of it for like $4. So it's really cheap just to get the suspension just about perfect for off-roading. And maybe to do like some on-road, maybe just use maybe a stiffer shock oil, 45 weight, maybe 50 if you want to keep these same exact settings. Just the only different setting is just the shock oil. So that'll pretty much do it. So hope this video has helped you. If you have any questions below, wow, can't even think straight. If you have any comment, post one below. I'll do my best to answer it. Just please keep it as related to the topic as you can. And if you have any requests for future videos, just give me a personal message. So that's really just about it. Like or dislike the video, either way helps. And that's pretty much it. Take it easy, guys.